tonight we are talking about how long it specifically takes to remove negative items from your credit report. And this is using the regular credit repair process, although that's a little bit different from a credit sweep. But this is a question that I literally get all the time, every day, every week, every month, every year. So that is why we're going over this, because there is such a misconception about how long it actually takes to remove accounts from credit reports. Most people think that this is just a wham bam, thank you ma'am, overnight shot in the dark type of deal where you can just send out one letter and kablooey, all your negative items are off. But you fail to realize that that is not the way that it works. So I am going to be throwing some things up on the board, such as utility bills, bankruptcy, student loans, late payments, inquiries, judgments, and more. And I'm going to tell you exactly how long these generally take. And this is using, not the super fast version of a credit sweep, but kind of an average length of time. Now you can also, this is also akin to regular credit repair, all right? So make sure that you stay to the end. I'm not gonna make this very long. So let's get started. First thing I want you to do is smash that like, subscribe if you haven't done so, if you want to increase your credit scores and remove your negative items from your credit report, because that's why you're here, right? You don't want a 500 credit score. You can't get anything with a 500 credit score. You don't want a 600 credit score, and you definitely want to get into that 740 range so that you can save hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on your APR, specifically with a mortgage, right? I mean, we're only talking about your credit, okay? So pay attention, listen up, and let's get started. So what is the most commonly found thing on credit reports? That's going to be collections. What type of collections? That's going to be third-party collections. So if we start with third-party collections, how long do you think that it generally takes to remove third-party collections? We're talking about, let's just say medical bills. Well, good thing that this is actually the most common thing found on credit reports, because it's also one of the fastest things to remove. Now, I will tell you that the timing that I'm giving you now is not the same timing that it was prior to the pandemic. For many reasons, it actually became more and more difficult as time went on, starting in 2020, to remove these things, because the credit bureau started getting more and more and more disputes. And I'm talking about going from 50,000 per month per bureau to about 1.5 million per month per bureau. So that also tells you why they don't really respond to you, right? All right, so that is actually when it started, and it's for a very simple reason. Pandemic happened. People lost their jobs. They didn't leave home. They didn't pay their, bills. They didn't pay their mortgages. 6 million people didn't pay their mortgage in the month of April in 2020. 4.7 million people didn't pay their auto loans. 6 or 7 million people didn't pay for their credit cards, so on and so forth. So this is why it's more difficult now, and it's just because of the sheer volume of people who are disputing still to this day, all right? Medical is going to fall right here. 1, 2, 3 months, all right? So before COVID happened, how long did it take? About 30 days. About 30 days, give or take, right? And why is that? It's because most of the time they don't belong on there. They're not going to validate it. They're going to violate it. And I mean, they were just significantly easier to remove. Now, however, you're talking about 1 to 3 months. And that is while going after the bureaus and the collectors, using the validation of debt, sending out disputes to the bureaus, as well as making complaints with the CFPB, the AG, the BBB, and the FTC. So yes, it is significantly more difficult, even with something as stupid as a medical account. What else goes under 1 to 3 months? That's going to be utility collections. Let's just say you didn't pay for the gym, all right? You didn't pay National Grid, you didn't pay Time Warner Cable, you didn't pay any of those things, Spectrum, whatever they change themselves to, right? That's going to fall under 1 to 3 months. Now, what else is going to fall under there? Well, most of the time you are not going to see these on your credit report anymore, but if you did, it would fall in this same category: tax liens and judgments. Now, let me tell you something. Prior to the pandemic, we were getting these things off in like 5 days. Like 5 days. I kid you not. I could go and get something off like a judgment or a tax lien in just a matter of days. So when I say that, I I'm able to remove things very, very quickly, it's because I actually have documented proof that shows you that I can remove these things quickly. However, times are a-changing, and that is another point here, that it's getting more and more difficult, and if you don't know what you're doing, you are not going to get these things removed. And again, I hope that's why you're here, so that you can get the correct mindset going into this, because I had a conversation, 2 of them actually, today, with people who needed some help with their credit, and unfortunately, I couldn't offer services to them because they were just so far somewhere else on the other side of a rainbow that doesn't exist, that it just wasn't going to work out. And why am I saying that? I'm not saying that to be mean. What I'm saying is they were like, hey, you can get my student loans off in 60 days, right? No. Why? Well, that is because student loans fall all the way over here. So we have 1 to 3 months, 4 to 6 months, 7 to 9 months, and 10 plus months. So what they were calling about just happen to be student loans, which fall under 10 plus months. Now, can they come off prior to that? Yes, absolutely they can come off prior to that. Any single time that you send out a dispute, you have the potential to remove them. However, again, each type of negative item has its own average length of time for removal, okay? And this is, again, the reason why you need to get this done the right way, either by hiring someone who actually knows what they're doing and who's actually going to do something for you, or by you doing it yourself and understanding exactly what you need to do, okay? Now, let's go over to the next one. Identity theft. Now, why am I even mentioning identity theft? Well, it's because let's just say back in 2013, right? Back in 2013, this was like the rage. Everybody was doing identity theft. Okay, so it used to be like, 5 business days, right? Pursuant to 605B, you are required to remove these accounts associated with identity theft when I give you the police report, my letter, and my affidavit. And if, you don't remove them within 5 business days, now this is a violation. Now, again, this worked back in like 2013, but I have not taken on an identity theft client and actually used that method for so 2016. So we're talking about quite a few years. Why? Because millions of consumers use this illegally when obviously they weren't supposed to, because it was illegal. They were not victims of identity theft. And because they committed this fraud, right? And yes, that is fraud, and it is punishable literally by you going to jail when you get caught for this fraud. You can thumbs down me all you want, but, hey, don't write me when you're in, jail, okay? We're talking about county jail. We're not talking about, prison or whatever, okay? But yeah, people literally go to jail for that. So because of all those people who did it the wrong way, now if you are a real victim of identity theft, we have to spend all this time proving with all these papers and phone calls and documents to whatever that you are an actual true victim of identity theft, just because people didn't want to go through the process and wanted to break the law and look for loopholes and all that kind of stuff, where they could have just done it the right way, and instead of screwing it up for people who actually get their stuff stolen, right? What else goes there? Late payments that are over 2 years old, all right? So the older something is, and this is a general rule, the older something is, the easier it is going to be to remove it. The newer it is, it's going to be more difficult. So if you have a charge off from like 2 years ago, it's going to be, depending on the balance and who it is, it's going to be easier to get it off than if this thing was charged off like 30 days ago, okay? So you always want to keep that in mind. What else goes into this 4 to 6 month category? Inquiries, all right? That is another thing that used to be really, really, really easy. And if you go back to that same thing of, back in 2013 and 2014, 15 or so, we're talking about a couple of weeks. And that's if you didn't use the process where you can just get them off, by calling or, whatever, right? So again, as time goes on, things get more and more difficult. So if you don't know how to do this the right way, and I say this with like all the respect that I have inside of me, if you don't know how to do this, don't send something out. You are the only one who is either going to benefit from this or get hurt by this, by doing it the right way or doing it the wrong way. You're either going to end up with your house or your car or your high limit credit cards, or you're going to end up still sitting in mom and dad's basement, all right? No, judgment here or whatever, but you're still going to be sitting in mom and dad's basement watching YouTube videos 2 years from now just because you didn't take the time to invest in yourself to learn how to do this the right way. So just chill out for a second, learn to do it, or hire someone who knows how to do it, and that's it. Move on with your life. Make this a one and done type of deal, okay? Next one, debt buyer collections. Where does debt buyer collections fall into? If you know the answer to this, smash that like. What is a debt buyer collector? Well, we actually talked about this earlier, and I posted a short, if you want to call it that, where I explained how to remove accounts like Portfolio Recovery, Midland, Calvary, so on and so forth, right? These are different than these utility bills, right? These third-party collectors. They actually paid money, actual money, regardless of whether it's pennies or dollars or whatever. They came out of pocket, they bought a book of accounts, and guess what? They can collect up to 100% of the account. So they have more of a vested interest into keeping this on your credit report and, collecting on it, obviously, right? So we are now talking about 7 to 9 months. Can these come off in 6 months? Yes. Can they come off in 3 months? Yes. Can anything come off in 1 month? Yes. However, I'm giving you realistic expectations, especially considering that people out there do not do the process like I do. You're not going to find companies who give you the copies of disputes like I do. You're not going to find companies who do all your negative items at the same time like I do, or all 3 bureaus at the same time like I do, or not lock you in like I don't, right? Or that don't send out templates for everybody. The only thing that is different is their pitch that got you to sign up, or their website that got you to push the button to, sign up or whatever, and your personal information in your accounts on the letter. Other than that, it is literally the same jargon on that letter, and that is why you are not getting results, okay? Either they are sending out templates, they're doing identity theft, or they're not doing anything at all. That is the majority of what you're gonna find out there. Not everybody is a slouch when it comes to, businesses doing credit repair. But hey, look, this is a high-risk industry, and it's because there's bad consumers and there are bad businesses, okay? So you definitely got to make sure that you find the right place if you are going to hire someone. And I do have videos about that, the specific questions that you need to be asking, and maybe I will post it in the description. First video I posted about that was back in 2015, all right? Next one, newer than 2 years. That is going to fall into this same category, okay? Remember I said that the newer something is, the harder it is to get it removed. Now, it also goes as far as impact, right? So something that is newer on your credit report is going to have a higher impact to your credit score. It's going to cause more damage, and it's going to be more difficult to remove, okay? So that is why it takes longer to remove late payments or even charge-offs or whatever that are older or newer than the 2-year time frame, okay? All right, we have 3 more here. Charge-offs. Where do you think charge-offs fall? Do you think these are, 30 days? Do you think that these are 9 months? Do you think they're 10 months? Do you think they're 4 months? Well, the answer to that is, hey, look, it's pink. Pink is, it's more like a salmon-y color, right? It is 7 to 9 months, all right? Anything having to do with a bank, anything, loans and credit cards and all that kind of stuff. Hello, it's gonna take time. These people, these creditors, these data furnishers have money because they don't just let their money go. They're not gonna reward you for not having paid them or not having paid on time. Even if you do pay, it's still not gonna remove it from your credit report. People say, oh, well, I'm not even gonna, sign up and pay you to remove this. I'm just going to pay it to get it removed. Okay, well, that's not going to happen. And when you do pay on it, it's going to decrease your credit score, and it's potentially going to renew the debt, and it's going to drop your credit score, okay? So you can't even pay to get these things off except for some of the medical collections, some of the utility collections, and some of the debt buyer collections, okay? So you need to be very, very careful when you are getting on the phone and saying, hey, I'm so-and-so, I want to pay my XYZ account in the amount of, whatever it is, and that's in exchange for removing it from my credit report. In some states, this is taken as legal verification. I'm not going to give you the list of states. If you want to figure it out, go and look that up. But if you didn't know that, smash that like, all right? So you got to be very, 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 very careful, okay? That's what this entire thing comes down to. So we have 2 more. And remember, Student loans are 10 plus months. Have I removed them in 30 days? Yes. Have I removed them in 15 days? Yes. Have I removed them in 45 days? Yes. Have I removed them in 10 months? Yes. Have I removed them in 6 months? Yes. So again, each type of account can come off at any time. Again, anytime you send out a dispute, you have the potential to get results. But if you are not doing it the right way, or you don't know who that letter should be sent out to, or whether this should be something you should be complaining about, or at what time in this entire process you should be making those complaints, then please stop. Stop. I don't want you to screw up your process. I want for these things to come off your credit. And that is the same reason why I have 1,200 videos that break down this entire process going back 9 years, okay? Now, foreclosures and repos, where do you think these belong? Well, if student loans are green, and that's 10 plus months, I would have to say that this falls into that same category. Foreclosures and repossessions. Why? Why? They are extremely damaging. They literally came and swooped up your house. They literally came and swooped up your car, okay? They repoed your property, okay? They kicked you out of your house, they kicked you out of your car, and now it's sitting on your credit report. So this is the reason why they are so difficult, because they are so impactful, okay? The more impactful, the harder they are. The less, or whatever impactful, the easier they are, okay? They're not gonna make things that are difficult, like credit-wise, easy to remove. It doesn't work like that. What is the most impactful and the most difficult thing to remove? And I had a conversation with someone about this one today too. I was driving back to the office and they're like, hey, you can remove my bankruptcy in 90 days is enough time, right? What? What? No, honey, we're talking about 10 plus months. 10 plus months to remove a bankruptcy from all 3 bureaus, regardless of whether it was dismissed or discharged. Another thing that you're going to want to know about, if you go to a regular credit repair company, unless that bankruptcy is discharged, then they're not even going to dispute it, right? With me, I dispute 100% of your accounts 100% of the time, 100% of the bureaus, 100% of everything, custom, factual, all that kind of stuff. And that includes bankruptcy, the minute that it hits your credit report. Because you have to remember that your credit is required to be accurately reported. And 100% of the time, your bankruptcies, including anything else on your credit report, they are going to be reported inaccurately, okay? That is the only thing that I care about, is accuracy, all right? And obviously violations, okay? So that is why the minute that they hit your report is the minute that I can dispute them. But hey, go ahead, go to some credit repair company who's gonna drag you along for year after year, month after month, okay? Most of those companies have an average of 2-year time frames, while mine is the average of 6 months. Why? Because I actually know what I'm doing. When I go to a credit report and I look at all of the dates and everything that's on there, I know how that account should actually be reported versus someone else just going and importing into their system, clicking a button, spitting out a letter and saying, hey, you know what? You owe me money in 30 days. Let's talk in 30 days. Just hit me up in 30 days when, you owe me money, because that's when you owe me money. That's all I care about. So what do you do now that you know how long these things generally take to remove them? Well, you got to figure out how to dispute them in the right way, okay? Because these time frames mean nothing if you don't know how to actually get them removed. How do you learn to remove these things? Well, I have a ton of resources, and again, I forgot to put those resources down in the description. Sue me, okay, sorry. I even thought about it again before hitting go live, and I was like, oh no, I'll throw it in after. So you can come back in a couple of minutes and I will have all of the resources down in the description under that first paragraph, okay? And we're talking about things that are going to help you to physically dispute, such as, I don't know, how to write the perfect dispute letter every single time, or how to write the JIRO formula. I have 3 different playbooks that I came out with recently. One on advanced credit sweep tactics, one on collections and the validation of debt process, and one on credit sweep secrets, okay? And the link is actually really, really simple. Let me just grab a pen and not a pen, but a marker, and I will give you those links just so that you don't have to wait, okay? And they're really, really simple. send me to.co/collections. That's obviously the one on how to remove collections. The one on the credit sweep secrets is /get my cheat sheet. And the one on tactics is /tactics. All right, I'm going to show you this in just 2 seconds. I also have another link on here. If you want to see if I can personally do your credit sweep for you, and I don't want this to block my mic, but if you want to see if I could do your credit sweep for you, then that is this link right here. No, I am not flipping you off. My740.com. That is where you can schedule a call literally with me, and I will personally see if I can fix your credit, increase your credit score, remove your negative items, and get you where you need to be. However, if you want to check out those 3 playbooks, which are literally everything you could possibly need for a beginner or even someone who is, pretty well versed in doing this to remove your negative items, okay? Send me to .co/collections, send me to .co/get my cheat sheet, and send me to .co/tactics, okay? Really, really simple. That is literally everything that you need, but there's going to be other resources that I will send into the description when we are done, all right? Now, if you have questions about this process, you can go to any of my other videos and post a comment. When I'm live, I do not allow, comments and all of that because I am literally going to get sidetracked. I have ADHD and my brain just doesn't work like that. There's too much going on in here, okay? So I do have to catch up on my comments, but I will. So if you have a question, post it. If you want to see if I can do that credit sweep for you, then again, hello, my740.com. Link is right here. My740.com. All right, so that is it. This is longer than I wanted it to be. 21 minutes and 59, 60 seconds. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. UFC is tomorrow, so make sure that you go and check that out. I don't know if it's pay-per-view or not. But anyways, be safe. If you are in an area where you're getting snow like we are, then please make sure that you keep yourself warm. And go and throw a comment on any of my videos, and I will answer it when I can. More than likely, it'll be this weekend, all right? But other than that, all of those links are going to be thrown in the description in literally 2 minutes. So if you personally need, some guidance on, different sort of resources that you can access outside of just 1,200 videos going back 9 years, then, browse that list, all right? Okay, that's it. I think I covered everything as far as time frames. So is this stuff going to happen overnight? No. But can it happen? Yes. You just have to have the right mindset. And I promise you, you are going to get results when you learn to do this the right way. Although there are other ways to get these things off faster. We will talk about that in my next video or my live. All right. So I'll see you tomorrow or I'll see you Sunday. And that is it. Bye.